These are my VCT America Stage 2 playoff pick'ems. And so first up, we're gonna take a look at the ELO ratings. And there are actually quite a lot of teams improving, which does make sense since the tier 2 teams did quite poorly. Only really Sen going down when I don't think they were that bad in play-ins, to be fair. But yeah, obviously this is a bit much, so yeah, this is just a bit like interesting to look at. But then I did one for just the playoff teams. So Lev, NRG, 100 Thieves, and Loud, they obviously skipped the play-in format. And so yeah, G2 improved and are in third. Then MIBR slightly improved, still in fifth, and EG and Furia improved by quite a lot. They looked quite poor during the regular season, and in play-ins they looked way better, especially than I thought they would look. So yeah, these are the ELO ratings right now. I think like G2, in my opinion, are quite heavily overrated by this. I would say with Americas, I feel like it's a top 4 right now. Like Lev, NRG, 100 Thieves, and MIBR, I would say are probably clearly the top 4, and then G2 are after that. Uh, Maybe even just on the same level as the rest. I would say probably a bit higher. But yeah, so I think G2 are overrated by the ELO rating, but maybe it actually ends up being correct. But now let's get into the actual pick'ems. But first up in the play-in stage, I didn't do too well. Like out of the 4 opening matches, I only got 1 correct. At least I got MIBR going straight through. I got that one right, and then one random game in the lower bracket. But to be fair, a lot of these matches couldn't work out just based off of the early matches that I got wrong. But anyways, let's get to the actual playoffs. And starting off, we've got Loud versus Furia, and I think this is going to be a really close match. I think Loud looked really good during the regular season. I've been a fan of them. Luke Shaw has been great all year, and then Tikizin came in and looked really good. I think Darker has also been very consistent all year long. And so Loud, I think they are a very solid team. But yeah, I think nonetheless it's going to be a close game because Furia has looked really good in the play-in stage. Basic has been really good for them. And overall, this team did way better than I thought. I didn't think with Com coming in and being the IGL, it would work out as well as it did. So yeah, big up for them. And I think this is once again, like it has been a lot of times, it is kind of the difference of is the momentum of Furia gonna carry them, or is the prep time of Loud gonna carry them? So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the momentum, and so I'm gonna go with Furia here, but this does feel very much like a 50-50. And then the other opening match is gonna be a big banger. I think it's really gonna be a sick game. Lev vs MIBR. I think Lev are clearly the favorites here, and I would predict Lev to make it through. But I still think that MIBR look really good. And yeah, I think Aspas looks better than he's been like all year long. So that I think that's a big factor in why as to why MIBR are doing as well as they are now. So yeah, I think for MIBR I would be surprised if they don't end up making champs, but this opening match was gonna be hard. Then in the upper semifinals, I think NRG should win versus Furia. They are just a better team. And then 100 Thieves versus Lev. I think it could be a close game, but I honestly kind of think Lev versus MIBR is going to be closer. So I'm going to give it to Lev here. And also, yeah, I think Lev would win versus NRG here. I think Lev is the best team in the world right now, probably. So, yeah, I think Lev should be fine here. And then in the lower round 1 matches, I think G2 should still win versus Loud, even though I've really not been like I've not been on board with G2 and how they've looked. I don't know. It feels impossible that they just go out in seventh, eighth within Americas. But to be fair, like they probably just end up making champs regardless. So they actually might lose this game since it doesn't matter too much for them, especially if it ends up that Energy and Lev end up being here. But to be fair, when they would play these matches, wouldn't have happened thus far. So yeah, it's a lot of talking for me, but I think for G2, generally, like G2 Lev Energy, they are basically guaranteed to make champs. Like it's there's like probably like one scenario for each of these teams how they don't make it, but I feel like it's very, very likely that all three of these make champs regardless of how they perform in playoffs. So yeah, I think G2 might not take playoffs as seriously, but I don't know. It feels hard not to predict them, so I'm gonna give them the win versus Loud here. But I think versus 100 Thieves it's gonna stop since I just think 100 Thieves is a better team. And then MIBR should easily win versus EG. I think they are also gonna win versus Furia. And in that case, I think that Lev and NRG are through to champs for sure. And then it's gonna be like I think G2 are also through at this point, and it's gonna be between 100 Thieves and MIBR. MIBR need to make top 2 to make champs, and 100 Thieves make champs as long as MIBR don't end up being top 2. So yeah, in that case, I think MIBR are gonna win versus 100 Thieves, but I feel like they are gonna lose to NRG. What do I think? Actually, I'm gonna pick MIBR here because it's gonna be to make champs, uh, and I don't know, just Aspas not making champs seems unrealistic. So even though it kind of seems unlikely to happen if things were to go like that, I'm gonna back MIBR to make champs. But then in the grand final, they'll be already through, so they won't take it as seriously, and then Lev win the grand final. So with my Pickems like this, it would be Lev being the number 1 seed, MIBR the 2 seed, and then NRG would be the 3rd seed based on points, and then G2 would be the 4th seed based off of points, which yeah, I think it's sad that most likely with how G2 have looked, I don't think they're gonna be top 4, but there's probably still gonna make champs, which yeah, again I think is really sad. I don't like the format being like that way, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a shame if G2 ends up making champs through this. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Who do you think is gonna be top 4 in Americas? Do you agree that there's a clear-cut top 4 as I think? And then who do you think ends up making champs, since these two are probably gonna be different? And then we're gonna see each other in a couple of weeks for the champs video.